I said we were going to start with Nurk, so I think we start with Nurk.
All right, yeah. Nurk was bad tonight. He's not going to be that bad for the rest of the season or for most of the season. He is going to be a liability in some ways on the defensive end. He is going to have nights where, like, we need him to make threes if he's going to continue to take them. We talked about this last night. Like, yes, there are advantages strategically to him taking threes. Like we talked about Steven, him being the first guy back in transition. If he's going to be missing shots, it's better for him to be missing threes where he can get back on defense than at the rim where he's the last guy down the floor. But yeah, the turnovers were bad. His turnovers directly were, like you said, what felt like the momentum shift in that second quarter. It felt demoralizing, like, man, we're back here again. And that just, everything snowballed from there. He's got to be better, like 4 points, 1 for 5 shooting, and then Anthony Davis goes off on the other end. He has to be better. I don't know, like, he's not going to be this bad again, but there are going to be nights like this, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but there will be nights like this. Devin Booker didn't have his best game in the first game.
No.
Nurk, clearly to the dismay of plenty of people in our chat and on Twitter and everywhere else in Suns world, did not enjoy seeing Nurkic's minutes tonight. It happens from time to time. We also understand that Nurkic is not a player that's an all-star level player. You have to just kind of look at it the right way. Yes, it's a bad game. Flush it, move forward. You know he's capable of these things. We're not surprised. You know what you have in Jusuf Nurkic. You know what he can do. You know what he can't do.
Well, that's kind of part of the reason right now. It's like, hey, he didn't have a full preseason. Can he fix it? Can he get better? I think Mike Budenholzer sees the problem, and I think you saw it in Game 1 when they went small ball, when they took Nurk off the court. I think he understands that there's going to be certain games where Jusuf Nurkic just cannot play or cannot play a lot, and this was one of those games. He only had 18 minutes. That's about half of everybody else in the starting lineup, and you can win games with Jusuf Nurkic not playing great, but you can't win games when Jusuf Nurkic is being an outright negative. I know we don't like to go into single game plus minus, but he was clearly the leader with a negative 19 on the floor, and he didn't make a positive impact in one specific way. He tied the team for a lead in rebounds with Mason Plumlee, but he wasn't dominant on the boards. It was almost 7, right? Only 7. He had 4 assists. He had 4 turnovers to go along with it. He wasn't finishing in the paint. He took 2 shots inside the three-point line, and he went 0 of 3 without it. That's all negatives all across the board. Even if you play in a short amount of time, you have to bring one positive thing, and he's not doing that right now.
I just think when it comes to Nurk, it feels like he's doing too much. Like, it's like, you're not that guy. You know what I mean?
Not that guy, pal.
I'm not trying to be mean when I say that, but it's also like, you're not, though.
They've got to dial back some of the ambitiousness with his passes a little bit. Because, like I said, there are going to be situations where the backdoor cut is open and the pass is slightly off target, or the defender sticks with it and is able to get a hand on the ball. That is going to happen. That's what comes with the backdoor cut territory and having a big who can make those plays. But the turnovers tonight specifically and the other night as well, they felt like things that were very avoidable, like him just being sloppy with the ball or trying to do a little bit too much with it. I think those are things that can be dialed back, but we've been saying that for 12 months now with a lot of these turnovers, and it hasn't happened. It hasn't been fixed by bringing in point guards, which goes back to what I've been saying all along. Like, your best guys, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Jusuf Nurkic, guys that are going to be handling the ball and operating in those spaces, have to take better care of the ball. Adding in Tyus Jones and Monte Morris does nothing to fix this problem if you can't get that out of those 4 guys specifically.
Yeah, it feels like Nurkic at times, because he has the ball in his hands so much. Last season he was doing a lot of the playmaking because they needed him to. They didn't have a point guard. They needed to have a pressure release in multiple capacities. It feels like this season he's operating with that same mindset, but this is not the same context that he was in last season.
Right.
I think that, like Eric said, this is only his, I don't know how many days that he's actually been, playing with the team since he returned.
He had
from
1
injury.
preseason game, and now he's had 2 regular season games.
So he's still in preseason mode in terms of his rhythm as a basketball player. And for all the dismay, Nurkic is very much a rhythm basketball player. I'm not making any excuses. I'm not trying to be a Nurkic apologist. I've been hypercritical of him, but I've made it appropriate. I want to make sure you apply the context with him because he's not a terrible player.
Right.
One of the things that was exciting about getting Tyus Jones, about getting Monte Morris, was with the KD part of it and the Book part of it, you could put them in better natural positions to score. And then there was the Jusuf Nurkic side of things where you simplify his role. He's a pick and pop or he's a pick and roll. He doesn't need to do a lot. You get the ball fed to you on a silver spoon and you just lay it up or you shoot a 3. You don't need him to do a ton, and it's unfortunate that either he's putting himself in a position to do that or the coaching staff is, but either way that has to change. You have to start leaning into your strengths for Phoenix. I know it's 2 games, but early in the season, Lindsay, it's important to establish good habits and good patterns, and so far through 2 games, there's a lot of things about the system offensively that they're running out there that I think needs to change.
Yeah, and hopefully Bud can figure this out and figure it out sooner rather than later so that we can start stacking some wins together and hopefully calm the trauma from bubbling back up of years past, right?
We all silly like the mayor.